Okay, hello. Welcome to Founders Live Seattle for April. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to be here with Nick Ellingson from WTI, my co-host for this evening.
Happy Founders Live. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Happy sunny Thursday. I think this is the first sunny Founders Live we've had all year. So it's beautiful out there. Thank you all for joining in. Go ahead and take a second. Tell us where you're joining in from right now. Put it in the chat. Where's everyone from? Hey, Eddie, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Now we have people watching a bunch from Indonesia. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us today.
Show's officially global.
Global, always.
John, good to see you, or see your name.
Hi, John. Good to see you. Hey, Andy, calling in from SoCal. Good to see you here.
Gary, I like that joke. That's a new one. I have not heard that yet.
Uh-huh. Gary's always here with the hair jokes. All right. Thanks all for being here. We have such a great lineup with people from all over today. We have 4 of the coolest startups. We're having an awesome opening interview. We got people from all over. Is this anyone's first Founders Live event? If this is your very, very first Founders Live, give us a shout out in the chat. Hey, Tomas, what's up, Tomas? How you doing? We got some C-Town.
Janice, good to see you.
Yeah. Got people from all over. Oh, this is Janice's first Founders Live. Everyone give Janice a warm welcome. Oh, we got a couple first timers. All right. Well, welcome, Andrew and Michelle. It's going to be a lot of fun.
First but not last.
Absolutely. Must have been, what, 3-4 years ago, Nick, you invited me to my first Founders Live event.
Oh, really? Nice.
And I just thought I was going for a good time, which ended up being true. But here I am years later, up running it. So I blame you, Nick.
That's fine. I'm happy to be blamed for this.
Oh, that's great. We're going to go ahead and get started with our show today. Give us a sec. Please like this video at the bottom of your YouTube picture. There should be a little like video. That helps us make sure that when other people are searching for it, they can find it as well. So take a second, like the video, share up the YouTube link, be the Nick to your friends, make them come, make them get involved. Go ahead, like this video for us. We're going to jump in. We have Neil Junjai here. He is the founder of Gleam Law and cannabis law expert. So Neil, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, of course, today is Earth Day. We've had some big things happening in the world this week. But let's not forget our favorite holiday for Pacific Northwest friends. I'm, of course, talking about 420, the International Weed Holiday. Neil, I know that there's a lot more to the cannabis industry than just jokes about 420, as much as I still like to make them. So can you just tell us a little bit about you, Gleam Law, and how did you get into cannabis law?
By accident, really. I think a lot of us come from that culture in dorm rooms in college. But I was a solo in an intellectual property firm. Well, I was an intellectual property firm. And one of my clients that wasn't that opened up the first pot shop, the first cannabis shop in Seattle. So that morning I was on CNN, I'm in Newsweek, I'm in Time Magazine. So I come back to the office and I couldn't even afford my own office then. I was subleasing it as well. And I sat down with the lawyers and we whiteboarded, well, what do we do now? And the answer was, well, I'm going to pivot and become a cannabis firm. So I went and found the other top attorneys in cannabis in Seattle, went around and hired them all or got them to join me. And over time kept opening offices. So now we're in 5 states. We have 6 offices. And we focus specifically on cannabis, and everybody has at least a bit of knowledge on it. We never ask our people when we hire them if they consume, but I've found that almost all do.
That's a really interesting point. Can you talk a little bit more about employment law? I know that there's some places that will still drug test for all of the things, and weed might show up even though it's legal. Just like give us a quick, like, what do I need to know as a responsible legal consumer trying to get a job?
Absolutely. So when it comes to something like that, it really is state-based. So up until recent laws in some states, it is illegal to consume cannabis federally because the U.S. government, the Department of Justice, and the DEA see no medical value of it whatsoever, ignoring that the U.S. government actually has a patent on some cannabinoids helping brain tumors, medical value. So that's our federal government for us. So that being said, if you did come up positive for cannabis in almost any state, even if it's a medical prescription, even if it's by need, you could get fired. There are a few states that started passing laws saying that's not permitted. Washington is not one yet. So some companies can do that. It's usually not good to do that to your employees, but conservative companies will do that.
Interesting. Okay, can you give us kind of the 30,000 foot overview of regulations? So I know THC is the fun stuff, CBD is the therapeutic stuff, hemp is the actual, like, fibrous things. I think that they're regulated differently, and there's some different opportunities for business kind of across the board. Can you just give us a little bit about regulations and how that impacts ability for businesses in those various areas?
Sure. Why don't we first look at what the plant is? The scientific name is Cannabis sativa L. Anything you hear like ruderalis or indica is a subspecies. Now, Cannabis sativa L is broken into two directions. You have hemp, which is a legal distinction, not a scientific distinction, that says below 0.3% THC by dry weight. And that is currently regulated by both state and feds. Now, if we're looking in Washington for THC, well, that's heavily regulated under our 502 system, which was passed in 2012 or 2013 by voter initiative. And that's the regulated stuff. That's the stuff you have to be over 21 to consume and to purchase. And that's a pretty heavily regulated system, falls under the Liquor and Cannabis Board. It used to be the Liquor Control Board, but easy change without changing the acronym. And that's broken into licenses. The three main licenses are producer, processor, and retailer. Producers and processors. Producer is a cultivator in other states. Processor could be a manufacturer, anybody that trims it and bags it to makes tinctures, oils, topicals, anything that goes to retail. And then a retailer is the shops you see outside. You can own a producer and processor or a retailer, but there's no vertical integration and there's no wholesaler class. So that, and you can also only own up to 3 producers and processors or up to 5 retailers. So we've created a cottage industry here, very dissimilar from most other states, and no out-of-state investment. So now it's a Washington cottage industry. And it was great when we started. The voters who voted for it are the ones that reap the benefits. Now we're cutting ourselves off at the knees because we're not able to bring in global money or public funds or anything like that. So it's limiting our growth. Now, the hemp side is regulated by the USDA and the Farm Bill, 2018 Farm Bill that was passed by Mitch McConnell, funny enough, pushed hard on it, Kentucky hemp growing and such. And then the states can either take the federal rules or do their own. Some states do have it, some don't. Hemp oil is questionably legal in food, drinks, pet foods, supplements. CBD is technically illegal, but it is being carried by things like Whole Foods and such. So we're really in the gray area. If it's a food, does it have a nutritional panel or a supplement panel? And the answer is supplement panel if you want to avoid as many laws as possible. The FDA will regulate CBD in food, drinks, pet foods, that type of thing under the FTCA, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act.
That's cool. So I guess kind of bringing it down. I went to California and I went to the ice cream shop and they gave me like CBD ice cream, which was great. It was awesome. It's delicious. Is that coming to Washington at any time? Can we actually serve it like that, or does it have to be prepackaged?
I would say if it was in ice cream in Washington, it would be far more legal than where you bought it from in California. So, I mean, we're not really talking about what's legal and what isn't. We're talking about levels of enforcement. If we talk about what's legal and what isn't, THC, our 502 system, all the retail stores here are just flat out illegal under federal law, and they still are. So it really is a mismatch of laws, a mismatch. It's a mismatch of my terminology and laws.
Could you give sort of a state of play of like, I know a few states recently decriminalized and I think some legalized, but what's sort of the state of play of how many states is it decriminalized in, how many legalized, and do you see federal decriminalization on the horizon?
I think I knew the number for you last week. Since then, North Carolina, Virginia, New York. I mean, it's going incredibly fast. So it's somewhere between 30 and 40 states have some form of decrim or legalization of medical or recreational. We're in the teens as far as recreational right now, and it usually takes about 2 years to unleash a system. Usually, some states drag their feet, some go faster. Federal legalization will happen anytime between now and probably the end of the decade. Biden is not going to sign it, but he's not going to veto it. We think we have the votes. We'll see. But Safe Banking Act, I believe, passed the House Monday. And Safe Banking Act basically eliminates criminal liability. One of the many things is eliminates criminal liability for executives at credit unions and banks, which will allow them to more readily take cannabis money, which then takes it off the streets. So it more legitimizes the industry than where we are now.
So we'll be able to not only have to pay with cash at some point?
That's a different thing. So there's PIN debit, there's ATM machines, but Visa and MasterCard get to decide what they want to do, and they don't want to take your money.
Interesting, because they'll take it in Canada. I can use my debit card up there. Is it really just the laws or like the persecution factor for them?
Well, it's legal there. Here, you can use your debit card if they have a PIN debit, or they'll run an ATM fee on your debit card, or some people will use a conversion from cryptocurrency. So you'll be buying cryptocurrency and they'll immediately convert it to USD and deposit it in the retailer's store. So there's lots of solutions. The cannabis industry is extremely creative.
Awesome. We have time for a few more questions kind of from us. When you're thinking about kind of creative new opportunities for the cannabis industry, I know with the regulations are always changing. What do you see as sort of like the next wave? I feel like there's a lot of companies getting into CBD. You know, is that saturated? Is it going to continue? Is there a kind of a new opportunity that we should all be looking forward to?
I mean, it's hyper competitive in CBD. Before COVID, 2019, whenever I'd go anywhere, I was surprised if I met somebody that didn't have a CBD company, just because everybody got into it. I think in that direction, in those other cannabinoids, those other secondary metabolites, besides THC, Delta-9, Delta-8, CBD, we're going to see CBG, CBN. I mean, there's over 100 potential cannabinoids, and when those silly hippies in the 60s said it's the ultimate medicine for everything, nobody ever thought they were right. But it looks like we're finding all of these good uses, and we have an endocannabinoid system in the body. So we're going to see a lot of those cannabinoids as we crossbreed plants to produce more of it, or we have better synthesis methods, or it becomes more economical. There's going to be lots of different products coming from it. As far as the THC side, federal legalization is going to change the game. I mean, we're going to talk about consolidation, public markets getting into it, buying market share. It's going to probably go the direction of we're all a bunch of small breweries right now growing. It's going to be like the big beer companies buying all those up. I think that'll be the result in the next 5 years.
I have a related question on that. So I think when a lot of folks think about the cannabis industry, they think about just growing weed. But there's a lot of other companies that I've seen in my background, or my bias is towards tech, but there's a lot of companies I've seen that are doing like ERP systems specifically for cannabis, or doing a lot of tech innovation around cannabis. And then kind of related, I also read, I forget where it was, but I know some major university offered their first scholarship around chemistry and cannabis. So I'm just talking a little bit about the ecosystem separate from just the actual like plant that's kind of popping up.
Oh, sure. I mean, you're going to have the entire ancillary markets, picks and shovels, we call it, from selling lights to the software to the marketing, the R&D, the branding, all of the value add products. It's not even comparable to alcohol. Alcohol, what kind of final products do you have? Different types of wines, liquors, beers. Hell, we've got cosmetics, we've got medical applications in cannabis. There's a million things to do with those products. You have textiles from hemp, rope. I mean, there was talk that this could take out a dozen major industries, wipe them out theoretically, or at least be major players in it, as well as affect another 60 industries. And that's from the product itself. But to get to your question, sure, the ancillary sides like legal are huge, HR, accounting, and that's just catering to the plant touching side.
Cool. We have some awesome chats happening, or some comments, questions in the chat. If you have questions for Neil, put those in the YouTube chat right now. We'll pull them up. First question here is from Tree Skier. Hey, Tomas, do you need a license to sell CBD?
Not specifically if you're selling biomass, if you're putting it in food, drinks, that kind of thing. You just really can't get a license in most states because you have federal illegality, some state illegality. So the question is, how much risk can you tolerate, and how much? And one good idea on this, if you're looking at putting it on food or drinks or what have you, is to go to the FDA website and look at the letters they're sending or the lawsuits they're sending. A primer is a Curaleaf letter because it hits on almost everything you could do wrong with labeling.
Cool. Thank you. Another question from Fortunato. Hi, Fortunato. Thanks for being here. Fortunato's friend was asking, what are the laws for growing at home for personal use in the state of Washington?
This has been a rough one. I mean, you can get a medical authorization to do it, so that would permit it. But just for home grows without that requirement, the bill died again this year. So technically, you can't grow at your house unless you have that medical authorization. So hopefully someday we get this right. I mean, you can make beer at home. I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be able to grow a plant at home, but that's the situation in Washington.
Cool. Well, thanks for clearing that up. Fortunato, tell your friends, not yet. If you have other questions for Neil, please put them in the chat. We'll pull them up. We got some people saying hi. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Kara.
Great to have you. So I have one other question. I can have alcohol delivered to my house. I can have my groceries delivered to my house. Why can't I have weed delivered to my house? And will that ever happen in Washington?
I can't actually talk too much about what's going on with that right now, but I can say it's just not legal. And we've been trying, the LCB Liquor and Cannabis Board has been trying ideas, but there's so many lobbying groups for and against it. We haven't really been able to get it started. That's not the case with most other states. California, you have licensing for it. Oregon, it occurs. We're a little bit more restricted here, which is unfortunate because, I mean, when you look at states that are completely illegal, there's still cannabis there on every city block, but it's not safe. It's not regulated. It's not taxed. So if you don't provide services people want, they're going to go to the black market. And now there's unsafe products being sold. That's basically criminal. It's not the direction we want to go as a society.
Michael has a question here. Hi, Michael. Is the current tax structure in Washington still favorable for cannabis retailers, and what does it look like in the next 5 years?
I would actually disagree with that and say the cannabis retailers have the worst tax situation as far as the different cannabis businesses. And the reason is IRC and 280E, the federal tax code says you cannot deduct business expenses. You can only deduct cost of goods sold, which means if you buy the product, you can sell it, but you can't deduct most of the other things that go into retail shops. When you're cultivating it, almost everything goes into the cost of growing it, so you get much better deductions. Funny enough, this case actually came about from somebody that was selling cocaine and bringing it on a submarine in Florida. IRS goes after him, and he's like, what, I can't deduct the cost of my cocaine and sub? Turns out you can.
Okay, Michael, so next time you're trying to deduct your sub, go for it. But yeah. Awesome. Nick, do you have a next question for Neil you want to ask?
I do. Let's see. I guess how difficult is it to start a cannabis company right now in Washington specifically? I know initially it was really expensive to get licenses and there was a ton of equity issues, especially with that, but has the process gotten simpler?
There is no process. So if you want to be a cultivator, there was a 30-day window to apply. You miss that window, you have to buy one. Right now, the licenses are spiking so high just because there's not enough of them. And so many got canceled due to violations or just letting them go. That's why the price of cannabis is going up. So the retailers are getting squeezed a little and the cultivators are making more money. So license can go for a couple $100,000, $500,000 before you really get started. Processor license, 20 to 40 grand, and that allows you to buy cannabis, turn it into other products. Retailers, we've had a couple of phases that open those up. Right now we're on the social equity phase, the third phase. And that's only for open allotments. So there's not going to be like anything available in Seattle, for instance. So you have to go buy one. And I mean, with the cost it takes to buy into a shop, versus what you'll get out of it, you could do better money on the market unless you've got a really good method of growing those revenue numbers.
So where would you say Washington State sort of stacks up compared to other states in terms of, I don't even know what the exact sort of definition would be, but opportunity or like ease of starting a business, or like if you were starting a cannabis business, what state would you go to and where would Washington sort of fit into that conversation?
Well, Washington at this point is extremely hard to get into. So the application system went into two directions in most states. One was limited application process. There's only so many licenses, and it's either a lottery or you have to apply, have so much liquid cash, show that you're able to do it, and then it's a point system. And then if you don't win, you sue the states, which is pretty common. There's more lawsuits going on in Missouri than there are licenses by a factor of 10. Over not getting licenses. Oregon, you can get in much easier. California, it's very expensive. There's opportunity anywhere. It's hyper competitive. It's really just, do you have an idea? Do you have innovation? Do you have a competitive advantage? And the second system is something like Oregon, unlimited licensing. So now hyper competitive, everybody's throwing money in thinking that they're going to make money like the black market at 70% margins. No, it doesn't work like that. Also, your basement grow did not scale to an acre of grow. You don't know how to do this. So there's a lot of figuring things out early on how to scale, how to run businesses. Apparently, you do have to pay taxes. That was a big deal, or bills. So it's been a learning. It's really been a long road of learning for the black market guys converting. The entrepreneurs that didn't know cannabis. They come in, they've got ideas, but they don't know how to grow it. So you have a lot of marriages between the two, and then litigation a few years later between the two.
When you're working with cannabis industry clients, what are the most kind of common legal road bumps they're running into, or the things that they kind of like, oh shoot, I wish I had done that earlier? Are there any kind of common roadblocks that you see people stumbling on?
Always the original governing documents, the entity formation, the partners, you're bringing in an investment, or you're working with people. Handshakes don't work anymore. Again, this isn't the black market, or people say they'll figure it out later. And in our experience, companies implode and everybody sues each other due to one of two reasons. There's not enough money left in the business, or there's too much money. So in both those scenarios, it's too late to go back and say, what was our arrangement? So it's really important just to get that on paper. And if you're not going to hire a lawyer, at least get something on paper, put it in emails, make sure the understanding is there so that you guys can go and unwrap that later. And there's not a lot of argument. And then you don't need to pay the much higher rate for lawyers in litigation.
And that goes for all you founders out there, not just cannabis.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I would caution the opposite effect I've seen people do is they go in there and they start hammering out these documents and they continually change them, and they spend months and 6 months and they're working their business plans. They're moving the pieces around the board and they're never starting to play the game. Sometimes you just got to say, screw it. Let's just go forward. We don't have everything perfect. If we wait till it's perfect, we never have a business.
Great advice for us all. We might have time for one more question if someone wants to put it in the chat. But Neil, when you're thinking about, cannabis business, cannabis industry, regulations, and kind of trends, where do you see us in, 20 years? 2040 look like for us?
I mean, you mean if global warming doesn't wipe us out?
Yeah, assuming that's all good.
If we still have our current society, I mean, cannabis will be a mature industry. So will psilocybin, since we've already got it regulated in Oregon. So I think we're going to have a new, younger generation, much more liberal. So what the Republicans talk about, personal responsibility, the younger generation will actually do. So I think cannabis will be very similar to alcohol, but a better society in terms of, less bar fights, less, oddly enough, pregnancies, because less people getting drunk and doing things at bars, less DUIs. So that's good. But outside of that, I think we're on the cusp of seeing it become a mature industry, at least in the US over the next 10 years. But it'll vastly exceed alcohol in terms of tax revenue and jobs.
Love that part. I love that future. I'm envisioning it now. Hopefully we'll have a reunion show April 2041, right?
Absolutely.
That'll be great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Neil, giving us some of the behind the scenes stuff that, Dude Where's My Car doesn't quite show us. I know that this is a huge real business, and sometimes it kind of gets put on the side for, it's a little unknown, uncertain, but with uncertainty comes sometimes the greatest return. So thank you for being our local expert, our West Coast cannabis law guide. Check out Glean Law. They're awesome. Thanks, Neil. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
See ya. Man, Nick, that was cool. I feel like I learned a lot for 420.
Yeah. Not a normal 420 or 422.
422. It's 420 part 2. Okay, guys. Well, we have some of the coolest startups here for us. Thanks again to Neil. Check out Glean Law. They're good friends. For those of you who have not been to Founders Live before, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a showdown. So again, please share out this YouTube link, pass it on to someone. Also, this same link will the recording will be live, so you can come back tomorrow and rewatch those points if you didn't quite write down everything Neil was saying. So share out this link. Welcome to Founders Live. This is the ultimate entrepreneurial experience and virtual pitch competition. Like I said, Nick has been inviting me to these for years, and it's such an honor to be able to be the city lead for you all. So we're about inspiration, education, and entertainment. We have a global and a local community, so check out our global social network and then our local live events. We are live online. Hopefully we will be live in person sometime soon. But founderslive.com, check it out. It's the homepage of the Modern Entrepreneur. There's community connections, videos, having some really cool sit downs with, I just was one with Dave Parker last night with Nick. Really cool stuff. Founders Live, monthly live events. We have hundreds of guests, 5 companies, 99-second pitches, 4 minutes of Q&A, and then you vote. The audience gets to decide the #1 winner. This is live streamed globally. We saw people from Indonesia here. We got people from SoCal, people from Massachusetts, all over. So this local event is really going around the world. Our mission is to become the industry-defining brand for entrepreneurship around the world. Nick Hughes, founder, has done some incredible work with global entrepreneurship, and we are lucky enough to get to live that here in Seattle. So welcome to the next generation of Founders Live. We have moved online. We are going back into a bigger, better, brighter, blended future. So we have Founders Live city events across the world. We've gone virtual. There's always an opening entertainment with something awesome like Neil, startup pitches, and then we have a social happy hour. It's always at least 30 minutes. Check this out at 7:30. We have Kumos, which is the coolest platform I've seen in a long time. You have to experience it to check it out. We're doing this in Seattle every month. It's also happening around the world with performance, competition, and networking. So welcome to Founders Live Seattle. We're really excited to have you. Founders Live started in Seattle and is quickly expanding around the world. So it's in 60 plus cities. This is from a couple months ago. I think we're up to 70 now. Tons of explosion around the world. So if you want to start a Founders Live in your city or your country, reach out, connect with the global network, expand.founderslive.com. Founders Live has 4 core values. This is one of the things that really brought me in and kept me coming back. First, respectful authenticity. We include everyone. We believe everyone has an equal opportunity to be successful. So be authentic and be respectful of everyone else. Founders Live Seattle tends to skew female winners. I don't know why. Maybe Seattle chicks are just the coolest. Probably. But we really make sure that if we're putting up a lineup of founders, it's a diverse gender, age, background group of people. Second, gather around the campfire. We're all storytellers. Find your campfire and entertain. Connect with people. Show up to that after party and collect some stories. The last couple months, Christopher and Gary have been hitting up the after party, kept me going until midnight the last couple of months. So really, really engaging conversations. So join us. Find your campfire and entertain. Connect with people. Third, open the door. Do nice things for people without expecting a return. That's part of the reason that I think Founders Live is so vibrant and is growing so quickly, is because people who care about entrepreneurship, who care about supporting founders, come, they give advice, they give feedback, they give connections, and all of those come back tenfold. Finally, no name tags. Obviously, we are at home, and my name is underneath mine, but really, whether we're online or whether we're in person, don't be awkward, have fun. You know, we're not here to, stick on a name tag and shake hands, give out business cards, even though a lot of that does happen. But find a friend, show up, have a good time. If you don't know anyone here, it just means that you have a room full of friends you haven't met yet. So one last thing, we're going to jump in with some of our founders really quick. But first, share out this video, check out the YouTube, share it out with everyone. We have some awesome sponsors that we're going to talk to in just a second. But first, I want to share an opening message from Nick Hughes. Nick founded Founders Live and now has grown it globally.
Hey everyone, just want to say hi, Nick here. Missing you all tonight. Not going to be able to be a part of this event, but my heart's with Seattle. My heart's there, and so excited to see the great things coming out of Seattle. Amelia, you're doing a great job, and everyone, just keep this up. Keep sharing this out. Let's keep growing Seattle. But I want to share you with a message here tonight that you maybe have seen, but we have released Founders Live Primetime, the app. You will see now, if you go to primetime.founderslive.com, all the winners from all of our events are in there. And the way we structured it is that each quarter we have essentially a contest of all the winners from that quarter go in, and they now are competing on a higher level to qualify for Founders Live Primetime events that happen later in the year, at the end of the year. So right now, there are a couple Seattle companies, you'll see them there, and let's give them some love. Let's support them. Let's make sure that Seattle goes on to Founders Live Primetime North America happening at the end of the year, and we need your help for that. So really excited, and you're gonna see so much cool stuff. I wish I could tell you the things that are actually coming together right now. You will know and you will find out, but so excited about everything happening, and miss you all. So have a good time tonight. Good luck with all the presenting founders and everyone there. Have a fun time, and I will see you later.
So Nick has created this incredible global community. So excited to share that all with you. Let's give a second and shout out to the people who make this possible. Nick, obviously, Nick Hughes founded it. Nick Ellingson shows up from WTIA. We have an incredible group of sponsors. So just so everyone knows, this is not something that I do alone. There's no way that I can do that. We have awesome community of accelerators, amplifiers, people who love working with startups. So thank you to our sponsors. First, Nick, tell us about WTIA.
Yeah, so I get to do double duty tonight, and taking a step back from Nick, the co-host, and now I'm Nick, the sponsor. So I'm with the Washington Technology Industry Association. We're a nonprofit that supports tech companies and the tech industry with a focus on Washington State, but we're now the largest tech association in the country. So we're doing a lot of regional work and national work and international work. So anyone here who's in tech should reach out because we'd love to connect if we're not already connected. As far as for folks in Washington, we do everything from provide health insurance, 401k, and other HR benefits for startups. We do events, we do public policy, so a million different things, just depending on what the company needs and the person's interested in. As always, all the presenters tonight get free WTI memberships because we're cool and like to support startups. Yeah, otherwise, if folks want to connect, reach out, Nick at washingtontechnology.org. I'm happy to talk more.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nick, and thank you to everything WTIA does. If you don't know about WTIA, check them out. They're like the best kept secret. So thanks for you, Nick. Thanks for getting the Startup Club membership.
And we don't want to be a secret, so tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. We have a new sponsor. This is our second month working with Snoqualmie Casino. I am so excited to introduce Takako. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hi.
So Snoqualmie Casino is one of our newest. Please go ahead. Tell us all about it.
Pesky mute button. So it's been fantastic partnering with this organization, and our entertainment kind of goes along the same way, the values that Founders Live has. As far as inspiration, a lot of great trails out here in the Valley to come and check out. As far as education, our sponsorship program is a way for us to help build the current and future leaders like Mr. Michael Ross, who brought this organization to our attention. And as far as entertainment, we have a lot of great views. We have a lot of great showcases. If you want to get a chance, tune into Seattle Refined. Earlier, we did a chopped competition with our own Salish Lodge restaurant versus our Vista Chef cook. And next week, we're doing a demonstration on AATV on preparing our secret Hong Kong fried rice dish. And on Mother's Day, starting at 10 a.m., we're broadcasting a great celebration of prizes for moms. And there are over 50 designer purses filled with up to $10,000 worth of free play. So tune in for that fun and excitement. And again, entrepreneurs need a break. Come out here for some entertaining fun.
Wonderful. Thank you to Takako, and thank you to Snoqualmie Casino. Thanks to Michael Ross for making the connection. I am looking forward to, at some point, I want to have a Founders Live sleepover at Snoqualmie. It may not be 2021, but sometime I'm planning a big sleepover. So thank you for being a part of our community, and thank you for joining us tonight, Takako. All right, we have so many great presenters here. If you guys don't know about Now CFO, I'm going to pull Bill up to tell you about it. Smartest solution I've seen. Bill, what's Now CFO? Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest way to put it is we're an operational accounting firm, but really what we're here to provide is financial visibility for all businesses of all shapes and sizes. And what that means is, you're a business owner, you're making 100 decisions every day, and in order to make smart business decisions, you need to have good data. So we focus on financial data. We want to make sure that you've got accurate data, relevant data, insightful data, so that you can make confident decisions and really progress your business down the right path. And it takes the shape and form of a lot of different things. It's bookkeeping, it's controller services, CFO services. We also help companies raise capital. If you need help putting together a pitch deck or looking to meet up with some investors and understand how to walk through those meetings, we can help you out with that as well. So really, it's an accounting and finance firm, but we're really just here to help your business in whatever way we can.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Bill. Really excited. Check out Now CFO. They're the most fun numbers people I've ever hung out with. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
See you, Bill.
All right. Next up, we have the Troy Niehaus from A.B. Bernstein.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you.
How are you doing today?
Man, I am doing great. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. For those of you who don't know us, Bernstein is a global investment research and management firm. We're in 25 different countries, and we manage over $500 billion. I hang my hat here in the Seattle office, and I work primarily with founders and very senior corporate executives. But I'm here because this is the group that I'm just naturally belonging with. I work with entrepreneurs, investors, and business owners from the inception of their business all the way through exit and beyond. I'm a former startup owner. I've run a hardware business. I've run a global software business, and I've experienced a lot of the same challenges that entrepreneurs in this group often experience. And so if you need access to Bernstein's global research capability, or you're looking to get introduced to a good corporate attorney or someone like a Now CFO or a tax accountant, or you just want to really talk about your business, we don't charge a dime. We only charge for managing money, and we only work with the wealthy. So we want you to be wealthy so we can manage your money at the end of the day. So if there's any way I can be helpful, please reach out. Cheers to you guys.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining, Troy. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. All right. Finally, wanted to give a quick shout out to The Collective. The Collective is right in the heart of South Lake Union. They are one of the coolest spots around. Every time I go there, I run into someone that I know and love. They are giving away some special opportunities for Founders Live friends. They're doing a promo where we can get a combo to Columbia Tower Club and The Collective. So reach out to them, Alex at Collective, or Alexandria at Collective Seattle. She is awesome. Check them out.
Yeah, just to double click on that, once I get my second vaccine in 3 weeks, I plan to be at The Collective just all summer drinking IPAs.
And I will be there mooching off your membership, Nick.
Do it.
It'll be great. It'll be great. That's the other place where I want to also have, I need to do, twice a month shows to do all the venues all the parties I want to plan. But check them out. Hopefully we'll be back there soon. Also, huge thank you to Amazon Web Services. All presenters are getting $5,000 in web service credits for AWS. Our winner received an additional $10,000 in AWS credits. We also, Google Cloud for Startups, incredible partners. All of our credits, all of our friends get cloud credits for $3,000, and there's opportunities for over $100,000 in more cloud credits. So thank you to Google Cloud. And last but certainly not least, I got to bring up our personal Founders Live star, Melissa Reeves. So Melissa is with Story Fruition. She is the most powerful storytelling coach I have ever seen and worked with. Melissa, tell us about what you do at Story Fruition.
Well, I am an executive storytelling coach. Yep, I am. I work with executives, business owners, founders like what we have tonight, and I help with presentation skills using the power of storytelling. I personally am a storyteller. I get up on the moth sort of stages and whatnot, and I share these stories. I bare my heart. And I realized a few years ago, working with you at Seattle U, that storytelling skills don't have to stay just in a personal space, that they can absolutely and are needed in the business world. And so I help with investor pitches so that there are, because a lot of the pitches that we see are very left brain, a lot of data. And we need to have that right brain story that gives the emotional balance. And so sometimes that's not easy for people to find and understand how to create. So I help them and I work with them and I do workshops and one-to-one coaching. And I know everyone's story tonight, and I'm the only one that knows.
And Melissa is the only one who gets the preview of the pitches. And
yeah.
I know that she works with them a lot because I always talk to them. Even this one, someone sent me their slides for the pitch today, like 2 days ago, and they said, I'm meeting with Melissa tomorrow. And I said, Bruce, send me your slides tomorrow after Melissa. So
well,
you,
it's not an easy format. It's not an easy format. So just one more thing is that you guys, these founders are going to present to you in 99 seconds how they're going to change the world. And so we are going to have a narrative. We're going to show their business model. We're going to get a lot in that 99 seconds. So keep that in mind. Keep your heart open and rooting for them because they've worked really hard. This is not the easiest elevator pitch to do. So I'm super proud of everybody, and you're winners to me. And have a great night. Have fun. And I'm stoked. And thank you, Founders Live.
Well, thank you for all the work that you do for Founders Live Seattle, Melissa. We will see you on the other side of the pitches.
Bye. All
right. Okay. You guys getting ready? We are just minutes away from our first presenter. So share out the YouTube. If there's anyone else you haven't invited yet, now is the last chance to get them to tune in. So please be that Nick, invite your friends, get them hooked too. Like this video for us really quick. Here we go. So first up, we have Handymaps. Next, we'll hear from Modus. Next, the Ally League. And finally, SynTech Medical. We usually have 5 companies. One of our companies had a personal situation come up this month and couldn't join us, unfortunately. So we'll be hearing from her hopefully next month. But I think these 4 are more than going to take up the energy and the space that we would normally have. So this is how we'll vote. Don't vote yet. You have to watch the pitches before we let you vote first. But pull this up, scan this QR code. It also is down below the YouTube video. Audience vote, so the power is in your hands. Throughout the Q&A session, use the chat sidebar. We'll take questions. We will ask the questions directly to the companies for you. So here we go. It's showtime. I am going to first bring up Vishal of Handymaps. So Vishal is going to pull up the slides here. Okay.
Okay, let me know when I should get going.
Okay, Vishal, I'm going to pull Nick down and take it away.
About 5 years ago, I went to a Seahawks game with my buddy Corey, who happens to be in a wheelchair. As we got to the stadium, we started running into problems like long bathroom and elevator lines. In order to expedite the process, he asked guest services for a map, received a piece of paper that had little to no information for an able-bodied person, let alone someone with accessibility impairments. Corey was dejected. He looked at me and he said that he hates going to new places because when he has to ask for help, he feels discriminated against because of the venue's lack of resources. But the thing is, he isn't alone. 1 in 4 Americans identify as having a disability. 1 in 7 identify as having a mobility impairment, and 80% of wheelchair users report that their local public works are inaccessible because the proper resources aren't in place. The Handymaps platform enhances the attendee experience by putting all venue resources at their fingertips. Handymaps covers the navigation of events to, from, and during, and also creates a platform for social engagement. From the venue side, our platform enables managing and improving the attendee experience through real-time analytics, communications, and safety features. The solution is delivered via free native mobile app and paid administrative websites. These applications work together to increase engagement and revenue from attendees. Before the pandemic, we were running alpha tests, and our intention is to launch our full beta once our partner venue, the Showware Center, can host events with Washington state law. Thank you. Any questions out there?
Indeed. I think I'm up for question duty. So everyone put your questions in the chat. Amelia will bring them up, but I'll get us started. I have a couple of questions. So the first one that everyone will probably hear from me a lot tonight. So Founders Live is a super helpful community. So what's one thing that you need help with?
One thing that because we were on a 99-second pitch here, so I wasn't able to get to it. But we are raising a seed round right now. We're raising a convertible note. We're aiming for $500,000 for a 20% equity position in the company, and we've already raised about 20% of that.
Cool. Well, while we wait for other questions, so you mentioned briefly kind of your revenue model, but talk about how you. Oh, never mind. Amelia brought one up. Tell us about your market position.
Our market position, yeah. Hold up a second. I got a slide on that here. So in the market, in our total addressable market, we conducted an in-depth analysis of the ticketed revenue industry. And what stood out most is that most facilities operate at an annual loss. And so while that might be fine for the large facility occupied by a major league franchise, it puts extreme constraints on the large bulk of arenas. Our target customer are venue owners and managers who wish to provide a new layer of communication, understanding, and accessibility for their patrons. And we found that, live sports in the U.S. is, attendance tops over 300 million tickets per year, and over 50% of Americans attended an event in the last year alone, so in 2019 before COVID. And so we believe that anyone who attends events, whether they have an accessibility impairment or not, are within our total target addressable market and can benefit from our technology and the use of our network effect that it creates for users across all venues.
Cool. So next question, Janine, you were thinking the same thing as me. So tell us about your revenue model. You mentioned briefly paid admin sites. So if you could expand more on that.
Thing. Yeah. So we kind of have a two-tiered revenue model here. So the first thing that we do is that we set up a fee to onboard each of our venues. And so our primary revenue, though, is generated via a per user subscription-based model where the customer, the venue, is charged a setup fee, which consists of blueprint digitization, hardware installation, and optimization. There is then an ongoing per event subscription fee that is generated through an accessibility fee that is applied to all tickets sold for an event. Therefore, although the venue is our customer, the revenue itself is generated from the event goer at a 25-cent per ticket fee that is facilitated by the venue and serviced by the patron. Therefore, the primary customer has no barrier to entry and has minimized risk to adopt and offer our service to its patrons. And this model has already been vetted and accepted by our initial venue management partner. And our other two additional revenue streams are one, direct sales to attendees of a special event specific features such as in-app concession ordering, and two, that analytics platform that we're talking about. All data that we generate is owned and stored by Handymaps, with basic analytics provided to these venue management companies at no cost.
Cool. Michael asks, what is your exit plan and time horizon?
Yeah, so we're hoping that our overall goal with this is to hopefully be able to hand it off to one of the bigger players, a Google Maps, a Microsoft Maps, Bing Maps, Apple Maps. The reason why I got involved in this whole thing in the first place was, again, because of my friend Corey, who is in a wheelchair, and I saw this need for people with accessibility impairments. They're being left behind. They're not being given the same services as able-bodied people. So I wanted to kind of get this movement going. Then hopefully, 3 to 5 years from now, we can go ahead and hand this off to that Google, the Apple, the Microsoft, so they can take this really to the next level.
Cool.
Great work, Vishal. That is all the time that we have for you today, but I know people will have more questions and they may want to find you in the after party. But great work. Great job going first.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. So next up, we will have team number 2, Modus. So Rick, I'm going to pull on stage in just a sec here. Make sure that Rick has his slides up and ready to go. Okay, fantastic. Rick, take it away.
Meet Emma. She's a chief people officer, and she's understandably stressed out. And like a lot of us, she's been dealing with working from home and all the conditions that have changed around her. For many of her 1,000 employees, this has caused significant problems. In fact, recent polling suggests that over 50% of employees now are on a job hunt, and over 75% are reporting a deeply fractured relationship with their managers. Emma's having a terrible time keeping up with our 100 managers and 900 independent contract contributors in multiple divisions and locations. All of them need to be developed as individuals, feel included, and paid and treated fairly. The issue is that current tools, hacks, and workarounds haven't solved the problem. They seem to have only made matters worse, in fact. We built and designed Modus to remove complexity, chaos, and risk in people management. With Modus Grow, Emma now has an HR tool that proactively manages career paths and skill sets. Feedback, check-ins, goals, and annual reviews are all located in one place. She has transparency into how well her managers are leading their teams and whether they have the skills to be successful. And employees are promoted for their skill and value that they create for the company rather than things like, affinity bias. And the two-way conversation about careers and work is further enhanced. Importantly, people feel included, and there's a thriving culture of development. We're Modus. We're seeking investors and a really talented CTO who, like us, believe that there's a healthier and better way to work. I'm Rick Beaton. I'm the CEO, and I would appreciate your vote.
Nicely done, Rick.
Thanks.
You preempted my question of what do you need help with. So the next one, while other folks ask questions, how did the pandemic change Modus, if at all?
Oh, I think what the pandemic did is it accelerated and amplified what was already happening in the current workplace. It showed the cracks and the fissures in the way that work is being done and how we manage and think about people. And so it exploded what was already sort of there and forced a lot of the issues that we've known for a long time. So knowledge work, the notion of self-governance, and how do we manage people that want flexibility, know that they work with their brains rather than sort of digging ditches, and that they can really work anywhere, anytime, and anyhow. And for that, we need new tools. We really need different ways of thinking about how do we manage people, how do we give them the freedom that they need, while at the same time getting our work in and providing great work for our clients.
Cool. Dennis asks, tell us a little bit about the competitive landscape.
HR tech is crazy, as you know. So it's, that's one of there's a lot of voices, a lot of people out there. The important part, I think, is that what's missing is that there's a deep fragmentation. So people are looking to solve a particular problem. So they might work at performance management, or they'll work at check-ins, or they'll work at something else. And all that fragmentation actually is burning people out. It's like people often have 6 to 8 applications, and they really don't have a centralized location for it. We're one of the first companies to actually be pulling in the core problem for the companies is how do you actually develop people and link the development with the actual work, which is 90% of practice on skills happens in the workplace, right? So it's that integration that's necessary rather than the fragmentation.
Cool. Let's see. Melissa asks, how much does it cost when an employee leaves and then spouts off on social media?
A heck of a lot of money. If it's a mid-level person on up, it varies from, like, a mid-level person, it's 50% of their annual salary. If it's a senior level person, you're looking at 1 to 1.5x of an annual salary. One of the statistics had it costs sort of like 10 grand per employee, but that's for pretty low level. It's a really expensive proposition. So when you look at firms and they have like a 25% talent retention issue, that's costing them a lot in their bottom line.
So how do you get out in front of that?
Well, one is, what we provide is sort of from a C-suite level, we provide windows into how the quality of the managers, how well people are being developed and maintained. On an employee level, individual employee level, from the onboarding all the way through, we've remapped the employee journey, and we've brought in together, because when you think about it, the way people learn is there's content, there's practice, and there's sort of that engagement that leads to sort of mastery, right? And that's what's really fragmented. So by remapping the employee journey, what we're able to do is bring an employee on. We've got the career path for them for the next 15 years. The skills are all clear. It's fair and transparent. We can link salary bands into it. And the employee comes in and it's like, you care about me. I'm noticed, I'm known, I have a place, I can build my career. It's not this negative, competitive, toxic environment anymore.
Well, that's a good segue into our next question, which is, what's the one feature people respond to most favorably?
This is interesting. Sort of the younger crowd, sort of the under 40s, when they see the linkage between the skills, the career bands, and the leveling, it's almost as though, I mean, we go to high school, we've got a curriculum and a tutor. We go to college, we've got a curriculum and a tutor. We know what's expected of us. It's fair and transparent. We know how to get ahead. And we often go to work and it's like nothing. It's just like figure it out on your own, you know, and they look at our skills and they look at the way that their management relationship has changed. And they go like, this thing just rocks. Because all of a sudden the expectations are super clear for them. They know how to get ahead. They know what's expected. So that's the one part.
We had a conversation about that with my mom last weekend.
Did you?
Yeah.
That sounds like an after-party conversation. Great job, Rick. I do have to
Thanks,
cut
guys.
you off.
Thanks, Rick.
Great job.
Thanks, man.
Oh man, Nick, are you ready for a surprise? I didn't even tell you
Yeah.
this.
I
We
like
have a special surprise guest, Nick.
Oh.
What?
Oh my gosh, what's going on?
Hey Nick, how are you doing? You just told us you weren't going to come tonight.
I know you were the one though that played that video. Thank you so much. So cool. Here I am. So excited. I have special messages. I bring special messages tonight for you all. So cool to be here. Excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Nick, you have some stuff that you want to share with us. Tell us about it.
Well, hello and welcome and hello from New Orleans. I'm actually down in Louisiana for the month of April and just been really enjoying all of this and just want to come and say hi. It's kind of fun to jump in here and just to give a little bit of insight. This was me about 15 minutes ago, sitting in my Airbnb, watching Founders Live Seattle on the screen. Not the biggest big screen that you could find in an Airbnb, but so cool. So, I want to come in and say a couple words and share with you what is going on. So that previous video that you saw, when I said, I wish I could tell you what's happening right now, that I think I shot that last month, actually, mid-March. And what was happening was a lot of good stuff that we can now at least talk about. So, if you all have been around a while, you know that we've been working on some concepts and ideas around, a show. Previously, we were talking about, TV show, video, and all that. But what we are excited to announce is we are building and launching out a new brand within Founders Live called The Inspired Ones. And this is really it's an live audio series exploring the intersection of entertainment, entrepreneurship, and creativity. And a little backstory is that a little company called Facebook reached out to me 3 months ago now, I guess, 2 to 3 months ago, letting us know that they are building in the live audio drop-in, what I'm talking about, experience, and they're releasing a product. And they approached me and Founders Live around being a part of the early brands to test this out and roll this out. And we said, you know what, we're gonna get going on this concept. And so when you think about the Inspired Ones, what we're bringing to you all is really around entertainment and creativity. And we're talking about actors, musicians, athletes, influencers, and creators. And the question is, and then you founders, what do you all have in common, right? And that's what I've been studying for the last couple of years is, look, it's not just us founders that are creating things and are entrepreneurs. You look at actors and musicians and athletes, they're investing now, they're creating things. And what I want to do is get to the bottom of that. And more importantly, I want to mesh this all together with you, the founders and the creators in our community. So every Wednesday, 6 p.m., we are live on Hotline, which is the new application that's coming out. One of the new things that's coming out through Facebook. You're probably hearing some things that what they're building. And we tested out just last night. There's some people in this room right now and on this video, on like in Founders Live, in this right now that were there last night. We had a little beta test version of that with Dave Parker. He did an incredible job, and it was such an awesome experience. And we're going to start bringing in names that you recognize. We're talking about world-class actors, musicians, athletes, founders as well. And we want to mesh that with early stage entrepreneurship to get the inspiration, where it came from, what are they doing, and how, and what are they trying to make impact around the world on, right? So I want to leave you with next Wednesday. This is Erin Blasky. She actually is from Ottawa, and she has an amazing story, and we're going to create this. She's actually going to it's probably going to be a monthly talk, but it's around what's called the messy beginning. You all know what the messy beginning is. The messy beginning is when you launch a company, everything is crazy, right? And how do you navigate the launching the website, marketing materials? How do you like get first customers? How do you onboard team members? She's going to start talking about it. Erin is awesome. That is going to be an incredible talk. That's next Wednesday. And then the next Wednesday, we've got Aaron Houghton. His company is called Founders First, and it's really about emotional, mental, spiritual health of being a founder and an entrepreneur. So from broken to brilliant. That's going to be an incredible conversation as well. That's in 2 weeks. This is really about you dropping in, hearing the inspiration. What's really cool about this application is you can pop up, you can ask questions. Amelia asked a question last night. Gary, who I know is watching right now, asked a question. A number of other people. We brought them up on stage. So you know the drill. It's awesome. It's better than Clubhouse. Yes, absolutely. So what does this all mean? This means that we are rolling out some awesome experiences, and we're talking about some major names that we will bring on, and you will be able to interact with them, okay? And you will also be able to be inspired. You'll learn, and it's just going to be amazing. So every single Wednesday from here until prime time, which is in October, we're having these. And also, I just want to touch on one more thing. We also are finally launching Founders Live Insider, which is our new premium membership experience that is everything above and beyond what is going on with Founders Live right now. So I'm just going to list through this right now. You're going to hear much more about it, but we are launching a premium Substack newsletter that starts to compile all this stuff that's happening. There's so much happening with Founders Live. I'm sure every month it's like, geez, that's happening. So a great new premium newsletter. We have a premium group where insiders hang out, a lot of other exclusive content going on there. Behind the scenes videos and audios with me, commentary on these conversations that I'm going to be having with all these people, access to, there's going to be a monthly hangout, Q&A chat with me around what's going to happen with Founders Live later, as well as questions that you all have if you want to go down that road, what you're working on, the back catalog. So all the inspired ones episodes will be available for you as a premium insider member, that you can go in there if you miss one for some reason. I mean, these are weekly, right? I want you to be in there, but if you miss them, they're weekly. You can grab it. We are creating this new concept called the playlist. So there's so much content through Founders Live. We're going to start chunking it up into topicals, kind of like specific areas of interest, and then start pushing them out to you. And as an insider, you will have access to all of that. It's awesome. And then lastly, we're rolling out something really cool, which is a very intimate SMS text message system where I'll be able to send much more detailed information about what's going on to the insiders of Founders Live, exclusive content, first to know events, getting these sort of things. So I'm so excited about that. So it will be $12 monthly, $120 yearly. And oh, by the way, next week, only 1 week, $80 for the entire year. You probably want to jump on that. That's like a third off if you want to buy it all at once. But if not, hey, if you want to wait, okay, it's going to be $12 a month or $120 a year. So with that, I'm going to leave you with one last announcement. We're so excited that TriNet is now the newest partner in the Founders Live Partner family, and we're so excited to be bringing them into our community. They have such awesome like HR and benefits for you as early stage companies. Can't wait to start bringing that much more compiled information to you all. But we want to welcome them, and we're gonna leave. I'm gonna leave here and say bye-bye. I want to see you in the Kumo space, and let's chat later. I will be having probably a glass of wine and enjoy myself, and I want to see you all there. I want to talk. But I will leave you with, hey, TriNet, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And Amelia, you take it. See y'all later.
See you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Glad you were here.
Incredible starts with a powerful vision. When you not only have a strategy for success, but the resources to achieve it. And you have the freedom to focus on what matters most. The flexibility to reach your goal, and the support to perform at your best. It starts when your work fits your passions. And when results are measured by the impact you make. Incredible starts with a partner who provides solutions that give you more. When you can instantly find everything you need, anytime, anywhere. When you can anticipate any challenge and exceed every expectation. When you're not defined by what is, but driven by what if. When you can grow with confidence into the finest version of yourself. Incredible starts when you have the imagination to dream big, the team to make it happen, and the boldness to go even bigger. Because incredible starts now. Because incredible starts here. TriNet.
Wow, that was so cool. So good to hear from Nick and all the exciting stuff he has going.
Yeah, I'm already inspired.
Yeah, just so you guys know, there is the info to RSVP for those are in the YouTube chat, so check those out. All right, we have 2 more founders to hear from. Are you ready?
I'm ready to rock. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. So next up, we are going to hear from Keisha at the Ally League. Let me pull Keisha on stage right here. Okay, Keisha, take it away.
All right. In 2020, many white Americans saw clearly for the first time what Black people in America experience every day. Racism is real, it's systemic, and it's killing us. We started the Ally League to help people transform their empathy for those affected by racism into action that dismantles it. When we asked allies what their barriers to action are, they told us they're overwhelmed just understanding the problem and by the number of resources to sift through to solve it. They lack diversity in their lives and relationships, limiting their inner circles to people who look, think, and act just like them. And they're afraid of doing or saying something that causes unintended harm to the people they're trying to help, and afraid of making a mistake that could have profound impacts on their lives or livelihoods. The Ally League has solutions to these problems. Beyond my lived experience as a Black woman, I have expertise in diversity and change management, which we've used to design a Black community-led membership and education program that not only guides allies on anti-racist behaviors, but also gives them a supportive community where they can practice without fear, grow with others on the same journey, and get support when they need it, all while experiencing connection with their local Black community. We are seeking There we go. We are seeking $250,000 to launch a minimum viable membership program in the Seattle area, which can grow to support other regions, topics, and marginalized groups. Investment would also support seasonal sales of our flagship product, Black Boxes, which are beautifully curated gift boxes filled with products from Black-owned companies to help close the wealth gap. Together, we can solve this problem. All we need is for you to transform your empathy into action. Thank you.
All right, nicely done. Oh, we already have a question up. So who is your first customer?
Our first customer is anyone who acknowledges that racism exists and that it's systemic and wants to help in some way and isn't sure how. And so we are here to help anybody who is either starting their journey or along the journey and just want a little support.
Well, while we wait for another question to come up, I'm going to ask the question that I've asked everyone. So you mentioned funding at the end. So outside of that, what's one thing that this community here could help with?
One thing that this community here could help with is telling people about us. And I think my co-founder was planning to join us as well. But one thing that we can all do is practice empathy, for one thing. See if you can put yourself in someone else's shoes and experience life as they do. And then to reach out. One of the most powerful questions you can ask any person who you might think is struggling is, how are you? If you say that and mean it sincerely, you might be surprised at the response you get and what you're led to do and what actions that lead you to take afterward.
You know, this is a good organization when I ask what's one thing you can help with, and you describe how people can help everyone else.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you meant me.
No, I think, but that's great. I like that answer even more. So next question here. Do you already have membership, and how is the revenue calculated?
Okay, so we don't have a membership program already. We've been selling Black Boxes for about 4 or 5 months now, a little over 4 months now. And we've been using that to build an audience and also to assess really, we wanted to address the problems that haven't been addressed. And so that was a good way to find that out. The revenue model is calculated specifically on the Seattle area alone. We have found that there are more than 900,000 people who publicly identify either as liberal or not, but interested in addressing social justice issues. And so we figured if only 7% of those people sign up for a free membership and only 3% of those people sign up for a $12 a month membership for 6 months, that creates $1.9 million in revenue by month 18.
How do you work with a white ally to learn and grow? What are the topics that you cover?
Oh my goodness, I love this question. And so this is where the change management comes in, which is using change management theory to help people build and sustain a new habit. And what we do is there are brief, self-paced exercises and education that you take each week in your own time. It can be 5 minutes at a time. It can be 30 minutes altogether. And then on a monthly basis, we all get together to answer questions so that we can practice as a community. And when it comes to the topics that we cover, all of that is designed and prioritized by the local Black community. We've developed a Black Advisory Council, people who have come together to identify what the racist and anti-racist behaviors are that are most important to our community. And so that determines what the topics are. Things like how to recognize bias, how to support a friend or a colleague who has experienced an incident, how to interrupt something in progress where you want to intervene on behalf of someone, how to speak up on behalf of and leave room for someone whose voice is not heard in a room, how to make that room. So those are just a few of the things that are among the topics that we cover.
Awesome. Well, I was thinking the same question that Nick has, so I guess great Nicks think alike. So is this so you mentioned the community aspect, so is this really localized to Seattle or Washington, or what are your plans for expansion?
Because Sarah and I are based in Seattle, this is the place we're starting. We have connections, family connections, personal connections, and we love the community. So we're starting here. So this is where our pilot for the membership program is going to be. But the idea is to create something that is so scalable and sustainable that it can be picked up and put in any location and used with any diversity topic or any community.
Awesome.
Great work, Keisha. Fantastic. Those questions went by so quick. I know that there were some more questions in the chat. So stick around for the after party. We'll get to dig into that more. Great work, Keisha. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right. So next up, last but not least, we are going to have Syntech Medical. Tawny is going to give us a presentation about that. Tawny, let me make sure I can find your slides here.
All right, do we see everything?
This looks great. Okay, Tawny, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Tawny Fajardo. I'm the co-founder of Syntech Medical, along with Tyler Underhill. We are both surgical nurses and have created a solution to a problem we have personally experienced working at a hospital. This is Nurse Sarah. She needs to transfer her very sick patient from the ICU to the operating room for an emergent surgery. She's short on time and she has a lot of equipment to move. As she and her team are pushing the large patient bed and all the equipment through the hallway, they turn a corner and an IV administering life-saving medication becomes dislodged. On average, there are 120 patient transfers per day that happen at a hospital, and that makes 262,800,000 transfers per year in the United States alone. Intra-hospital transport comes with an increased risk to the patient, costly for the hospital, and is very cumbersome. Nurse Sarah shouldn't have to be put in this situation. Syntech Medical is developing the Tech Clamp, a multi-adaptable clamp that connects to the IV pole and a bed. It allows for the wheels of the IV bowl to be lifted off the floor, creating a more efficient and safer way for the patient's transport and for the staff as well. A complete IV transport system can cost approximately $15,000 to $30,000, and Syntech Medical Solution costs 70% less, and allows facilities to use their existing equipment. Syntech Medical is a company offering a simple solution, a cost-effective solution to a very important problem. This can result, a problem that can result in life or death scenario. We're currently working with bioengineers to finalize our design and develop a prototype. We'll be putting our funding towards this phase. Thank you so much.
Great work, Tawny. You're just a little bit over, but I didn't cut you off. I know you had some tech trouble. So ask your questions for Tawny in the chat. Great job rolling with it. Nick, do you have a first?
I do. So same first question I've had for everyone except for Rick, who preempted me. What's one thing that you need help with?
Yes, one thing that we're looking to have some help with is to get this word out. I think a lot of people don't understand the intensity of intra-hospital transport and how needed and urgent that this product is really required for hospital and patient safety. More often than not, I think we should be able to have a good budget. A hospital sometimes may struggle with understanding why this is very important. So having a budget and making that available for facilities is a really huge goal of ours.
Cool. Great vocab word in this question. With the clamp to the bed, would it occlude IV lines?
No, actually there are, it's a multi-joint clamp. So being able to have that flexibility to kind of move it either inwards or outwards based off of the type of transport that the facility or the staff is looking for, it should not be able to bunch anything up. And the bioengineers that we're currently working with have an amazing idea to make this happen, and I'm very excited to share with investors and advisors to be part of the solution for safe patient transport.
Cool. And then next question, do you have any competitors? And if not, why is no one else doing this?
Yes, I actually thought this was very interesting. So there are not a lot of competitors, but the competitors that do exist currently, they require every facility to not only invest in their specific bed and their specific IV pole, but also every single connector that comes with it. What Syntech Medical wants to do is completely simplify this entire process so that they only need to just get the clamp, the connector. Most hospitals can just use everything they already have, and being a simple solution is something that we want to be able to stress out and be the answer for.
Let's see. Next question. How hard is it to sell this to hospital administrators? Is the problem getting meetings, or do they need a lot of convincing?
You know, I believe for any medical device, it can be very challenging to introduce something new. I think our challenge right now with COVID and the pandemic, I think the budgets are going to be a little more different, but because of the urgency of this need, I actually don't see very much difficulty. It's really just a matter of being able to demonstrate how effective this product can be for our future.
How will this product help assist in the operating room? Can you give some examples?
Yes. So something that both Tyler and I have experienced as OR nurses, we do make transfers from the ICU to the OR, and I've personally seen this. I've seen wheels going over cords. I've also seen difficulty getting from the elevator into the OR, and it's space saving. Space saving is something that this product really does. There is something that a really interesting story that we've come across as well. There was a story of a patient. It was a kid, and their pulse ox had unknowingly kind of disconnected from the patient, and we didn't realize that during the entire patient transport, this patient was going hypoxic, and this child now has severe brain damage and has to live with it because of this very critical transport. And the staff unknowingly didn't realize that the monitor to the oxygen saturation was just not there, and they were hypoxic, got to PACU, got to recovery, and were unable to salvage the situation. So that's how important this transport really is. We hope to share with people how urgent and important it is to make the solution happen.
Great work, Tawny. I am going to jump in here and cut you off. Fantastic presentation, though. You guys are doing such important work. I know there's going to be people who have more questions in the after party. So thank you, and we will see you over there. I'm going to pull you down now. Okay. Nick, are you ready to vote? I'm so glad that I am not allowed to vote.
I don't think I'm allowed to right now, right?
No, we're not. But
I'm excited for everyone else to.
This is the time for the audience to vote. You pick the winner. Go ahead, use your phone, scan the QR code. There's also a link right below the YouTube video. Pick the one that is your favorite. We will take a break. It takes 5 minutes for voting. So we're going to really quickly, everyone grab this screen, grab the QR code, and I'm going to give us a handy dandy countdown. So we will be here for 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to get your vote in, and don't go anywhere. Come right back, and we will announce the winner, and then we'll jump over to our Kumo space. All right, Nick.
Go time.
I think that means the votes are in. Let me get this going. The handy timer is still going off on my end. All right. Okay. This is, it's always close. Let me tally the votes here.
Everyone at home, drum rolls.
Yeah. Virtual drum rolls. And our winner is the Ally League. Congratulations, Keisha. Come on up. Great job. So excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I couldn't find the unmute button. Oh my goodness, on behalf of me and my co-founder Sarah, thank you all so much. We're so excited at the love everybody's showing, and so excited to win tonight. Wow.
Fantastic. Congratulations. I know that you guys have put so much heart and soul into all of the work that you're doing. Shout out to the Ally League. So Keisha, what can we do next to support you?
There are many ways to support. We are looking for investment that helps. One of the things that really helps us is folks who know about fantastic Black-owned businesses and forward that information to us. We want to support as many businesses as we can. And another thing that we really need help with is marketing. We've been struggling to find we try to use Black-owned vendors whenever we can, BIPOC as well, and we struggled to find experienced marketing support. And so that's another way that people can support. Tell your friends, and also let us know what you're struggling with. The more we know about it, the better we can fix it.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Oh, yes.
You mentioned looking to connect with more Black-owned businesses. Are they specifically like product businesses or any businesses?
So ideally, product-based businesses. Those are the ones that we put into the black boxes. We get a lot of requests for black boxes for businesses. So client gifts and for real estate agents to send to their clients. So we're looking for a pretty big variety and different price points. But we're also happy to know about service-based businesses whose voices we can help to amplify and that we can share with anybody who asks.
Cool. I have a couple of those.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Keisha, I have some ideas for you, so we'll connect offline. I'll be sure to find you in the Kumo space. I'm going to pull you off. Call your mom, do a happy dance, pet your dog, whatever you got to do, and then take a deep breath, and we'll see you over there. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And huge congratulations to all of our pitchers today. They did such an incredible job. Tawny and Rick and Vishal, I know that we're going to be hearing big things from all of you very soon. Thanks, Nick, for co-hosting with me.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
This was so
Returning the favor,
much.
I suppose.
This is so much fun. I promise I will be volunteered for something for you. Again, Founders Live Seattle is such an incredible community. I keep coming back because all my friends and my future friends are here. I swear every cool person I've met in the last couple of years is through one of these circles, and you'll find that the overlapping circles are very small. So thank you everyone for joining Founders Live. Shout out to the people who is this your first time. Tomas, we'll see you next time. Please invite your friends. May 20th, the Dan Savage, not that Dan Savage, but the Dan Savage will be co-hosting with me. If you don't know the Dan Savage, make sure you mark your calendar for March 20th. It's going to be
best
great.
Hat game in Seattle.
What'd you say?
I said Dan has the best hat game in Seattle. So
he really does. His hat game is almost as strong as your beard game.
Appreciate that.
All love. Go ahead and like this video. Make sure you can come back and watch it. If you loved any of the pitches tonight, this recording will stay on this YouTube link. You can rewatch it. So take this link, forward it to your friends. If you love the Ally League and you know someone who should be on it, take this YouTube link and forward it to them right now. Like it. Make sure we can find it again. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Neil, for joining us, getting us a little bit schooled up for the holidays. Fantastic conversation, everyone. Every Founders Live is now on your Founders Live feeds to watch them anytime. Check that out. Get your pro account. Stick around for happy hour networking. We're going to use the Kumo space. It is cool. You have to experience it. I can't even explain it. The link is right below the YouTube video, so check that out. I know I'm going to be having a drink. I put these on Thursdays for a reason. Let's have a good time. It's still sunny outside. That's it for Founders Live April. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Nick. What a great show.
Yeah, that was great. I'm excited to talk with folks in the after party.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next month.